And we have officially been canceled.
This is what,
This is what brings us down.
Welcome back to Recommendations Required, a podcast where two friends try to find their next obsession, and maybe you will too. I'm here with...
Ooh, I like that.
You like that?
I like that. Okay, sorry. You're here with Glenn Brown.
And Ryan Meon. We flipped it. We said our own
flipped
names.
it. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
No, we're not supposed to say our own names. It's got to go the other way. It has to.
We are back. We're new and improved.
We're improved.
I mean, like the branding's improved.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I'll just throw this out here. Carter, cut this out. If we do something differently, but we've been calling the podcast for a bit Love at First Try, which was fine. It kind of felt like a bachelor show to me.
It does feel
like
a little reality
TV.
show-ish.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and every time I said it, I was like,
that's what it is.
It just doesn't have that. It
wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't
but
great, though.
There was just something. It was okay. There was something there. You know?
It was fine. It was mid. It was, as the kids say, it was mid.
Okay.
The kids.
As the kids. We're that old now? We're calling them kids?
I don't know.
Okay.
But now it's recommendations required, which I think it's
perfect.
I
love it.
It's
you got
great.
the alliteration.
Yeah.
It says what the podcast is. It's perfect. Yeah.
We were talking about having an opening.
Mm-hmm.
Different things to kind of bring up. I have something. I think we can be serious here for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I know it's goofy and I know it's fun, but there's a lot of things happening in the world. I can't even keep a straight face.
Oh my
There's a
God.
lot of things happening in the world,
Oh my God,
and I
you're
think
the
we
worst.
just need to have a honest to God conversation
Okay.
about a pretty hot political view.
Oh my God.
Pretty hot political take. When is it okay
This better land.
to start drinking pumpkin spice drinks?
Oh my God. Oh man. Okay. Now, when is it okay? Not when do I start?
I think both. Let's hear both.
Okay.
You would rather the public live by different rules than you live by yourself.
Maybe. I think it should be socially acceptable to start drinking pumpkin drinks October 1st.
Wrong.
That is when that is harvest kickoff is October 1st.
I was in this boat hardcore.
Okay.
And then Starbucks came. Also, I have to mention this might come out like in January.
Yeah. So this will not be
this won't be
present.
relevant.
No.
But I think it applies to like peppermint mocha.
People can think back.
Every
on it.
seasonal drink that
Yes.
comes out. When's the right time to drink?
Yeah.
But we're talking about the pumpkin spice.
Yes.
October 1st. I was like 100% on board. And then, Starbucks comes out.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, pumpkin spice. I think it was like September 1st.
Yeah.
Which you would argue is too early. And I'm making the argument that you should maximize your pumpkin spice window.
Sure.
Because why would I deny myself a drink that I want for a month?
I have a question then.
Right. Fire.
Why not just make it the whole year?
No, because then it takes away the specialness of it.
So where is that breaking point? How long?
When Starbucks declares it. They're kind of like the Pope of seasonal drinks.
Okay.
So it's like, Dunkin' Donuts will go, pumpkin spice. They're like, no. And then Starbucks can say, pumpkin spice.
So are you going off when Starbucks stores have pumpkin spice lattes?
I think so.
Because I did purchase a pumpkin spice Starbucks creamer in early August.
Okay, now hold on a second.
And I loved it.
You hypocrite. October 1st, middle of July. This man gets creamer.
That's all I'm saying.
Who's to say? All I'm saying is
Starbucks. Starbucks is
to say. That's my point. But I was driving by and I was like, oh man, a pumpkin spice cold brew. Do you you vibe with the pumpkin spice cold brew?
I have already had several. Yes.
Hypocrite. You're here standing on your hill saying October 1st.
I specified.
And we're mid-September.
I specified when it should socially be acceptable.
So you're
not when
what you're doing
I
is taboo.
do it.
Glenn lives in the taboo, is what you're saying.
I am not socially acceptable.
Just in general.
Just in general.
Yeah, I think I was more pretentious, which is the dumbest thing to be pretentious about. But
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
oh, you can't listen to Christmas music. You
Mhm.
can't like
Mhm.
do whatever. But I'm like, you know what? Just if you want to listen to Christmas music in July, I'm not going to talk to you or enjoy your presence as a person.
Okay.
But go for it. Whatever
Okay.
makes you happy.
Sure.
But yeah, pumpkin spice. I'm smashing it as soon as possible.
Okay. Okay. How long can it go? When do you switch to peppermint?
I think once it's snow after Thanksgiving, it's
snows.
after
Snows
Thanksgiving.
If you were
it's
gonna
hard.
say snows,
I wasn't gonna say snow.
That's variable. That's all over
exactly.
the place.
Especially here. I think after Thanksgiving, it's like
I think Thanksgiving's
you got
the
like a
breaking
week
point.
grace period.
Sure.
But like
Oh, you can't go before Thanksgiving.
I'm saying week after Thanksgiving,
Okay,
you have
okay.
a grace period.
That's fair. Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like you still have pumpkin spice creamer. There's still leftovers. The fall vibes are still going for a little bit, but that's our official take at recommendations required.
And we have officially been canceled.
Can't. This is what
This is what brings us down.
the pumpkin spice debate. So Glenn, you have a review for me.
I do.
I was driving. I was like, I'm so excited to hear about how much he loves this show, and then I thought he might not like this show, and I don't know if I have the
Pretty cocky.
emotional capacity to hear you. Let me just say, if you don't like the show, it's gonna get heated.
Oh, it's gonna
super
get
fast.
heated.
Yes.
Okay.
It's gonna turn into argument
Okay.
because, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
But that said, tell me how you feel.
Okay. Well, I don't want it to get heated in the studio.
Yeah, it's gonna get heated. I can tell already.
Okay, so I'll start off by saying I'm officially caught up.
So
I've seen all 6 episodes.
I haven't seen the 6.
Okay, so I've seen more than you.
You've seen more than me.
Yes.
You've surpassed me.
To
To be fair, the reason I haven't is because I started to watch it with Jackie,
Mm-hmm.
and she watches shows slower
Yes. Yeah, I
than
understand.
anyone I know.
Yeah.
It's like I could watch the show 8 times before we got through the second episode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love you, babe, but oh my goodness, like hurry up.
See, Holly is very hit or miss on shows. Like if she's digging a show, like we started like the first episode of Squid Game, we finished it in like 2 days. Like just binged the whole thing.
That's how I am.
Yeah, and then I did actually start watching. We didn't even say what we're talking about. Welcome to Wrexham.
Yes. Okay, you can't just listen to this episode. And maybe I should explain. I can't keep explaining what the like how.
No,
the
we don't have to
mechanics-
explain it every episode, but we should
Glenn is-
say what it is.
Glenn is reviewing Welcome to Wrexham, a show
Yes.
on Hulu that I recommended to him.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay, I feel like at the minimum,
That's fair.
we need to say the
Yeah.
name of the thing.
Because that way, if we're like 80 episodes in, God help us,
Yeah.
they'd have to start at episode 1 to
Yes.
work their way.
Or else they would have zero context for anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did start watching it with Holly.
Okay.
Both of us liked the first episode right off the bat.
Okay.
She dropped off pretty much immediately. Wasn't
Okay.
interested anymore.
Okay.
It hung in there with me. I very much
Okay.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed every moment of this documentary.
Where is it, Glenn?
Okay.
The butt.
There's no but. There's no
a
but.
but.
I
There's a
enjoyed. I feel like I'm coming off like I'm gonna swing it back at you
Yep.
somehow. I am not. I enjoyed it very much. I do think it probably holds a special little spot in your heart that it may not for me because I'm not a documentary person.
Yep.
Sure. But I will say I have never wanted to watch soccer more in my life.
Right?
I am
Okay.
so intrigued
Okay.
now. So one, I thought it was a very balanced documentary.
Yes.
It's hitting all these little things and bringing them all together very beautifully.
Yep.
You got a little bit of just in case you didn't listen to the last episode of this podcast. Basically, Ryan Reynolds and Rob, I always forget his last name. McElhenney.
I think so.
Okay. They decide to buy a football or soccer for American people a football club in Wales, Wrexham, Wales,
Mm-hmm.
that is kind of like falling to pieces,
Yep.
essentially. And they decide to purchase it and kind of bring it up
Yep.
from there. So they have this perfect balance of what I was saying. They have this perfect balance of you're getting like some comedy fun moments between Ryan and Rob. You know, they have like a fun banter and how they're handling the situation, because this is kind of new for them too. Like they don't know how to run a football club.
Yep. They barely know anything about football.
Yeah. You're also getting like nice, like heartfelt moments where they're interviewing people of this town and like what this team means to them. So you're getting like this nice heartfelt moment, but then you're also getting like the drama of the soccer where like they start playing games and like a lot is riding on this one goal.
How crazy is that one game before they rebuild?
Yes.
And you're just
I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm realizing that if they do not score one more goal, like half this team is getting fired.
Yeah.
Like
people are
that's
losing
wild.
their jobs.
And there's like it's not even it was really interesting because it didn't even seem like I mean maybe they're not showing much of this, but it didn't even seem like a lot of people would be super upset about that. It was more of a like, I understand. That's the reality of the situation. I'm 35. I'm kind of on the outs. If we can't make the run now, I'm on the cutting block, and like that's okay. I'd rather. It was really interesting because it seemed like they would rather see the team succeed than be on the team.
Yeah,
which was like I feel like a different mindset. Yeah, it was very 100%. Interesting. But yeah, you're getting all these little different things that just really pull you in different ways, which I thought was just beautifully put together. Yeah, and really sucked me in.
Yeah, there's such a flow to it, and like now it's going to become an interrogation about like, because I can sense that it didn't click in the same way that it clicked for me. Sure. And obviously, like to your point, like. This is a terrible analogy. You're going to look at a wooden table much different than I am.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But there's just like, maybe it's my obliviousness and maybe it's the whole reason this podcast exists because I'm like, how does anyone watch this and not go, oh, this is beautiful?
Exactly. Like, I feel like I was going to use the analogy of like a painting, right? Like if you're a painter and I'm like, I'm seeing this beautiful painting. It looks great. Like cool. Like it evokes some emotion out of me. This is all great, you know? But then you're looking at it and you're seeing the brush strokes and the construction and all this stuff, you know, that I'm just not picking up on. Yeah. So I feel like I'm just getting a different view of it. But
what is your history or background when it comes to like two documentaries?
So I think I mentioned a little bit on our last episode, but I mean, pretty much like when I'm thinking of a documentary, I think of just like a lot of interviews talking about an event from a long time ago. Okay. Like so 50, 100 years.
They're like historical docs.
Like war docs are like pretty much my biggest touchstone, which that was one of the things I really thought was interesting about this documentary specifically, which I don't know, but I feel like is probably rare, of they are able to have like full documentary crew on the spot as things are happening, you know?
I would say that's more the case.
Okay. Like I feel
they're
like
harder to execute because you have to film as life happens.
Yeah.
As opposed to, let me tell you about a thing.
Exactly. I feel like that's what I'm used to for some reason. Like the only other thing, this is going to sound so dumb. The only other like documentary I can think of that's like we're filming it as it's happening is like Catfish. Like that's my only touchstone to something like that. I think that's fair. Yeah. I can't think of another. I don't watch a lot of documentaries, so I can't think of another documentary that's like that.
Well, and this is good. And like now I'm like, okay, cool. I'll suggest this and I'll suggest this and because there was something I was starting to think about as we like. I have a queue now of things that I'm like ready to have you try. Yeah. And some of them, and it's also why I like our new name. But some of them are things that I don't think you'll inherently love. But I want to push you into trying these things and like recommend these things that are like, okay, you might not love it, but it's an experience and it's different and it will push you out of your comfort zone.
Oh, man. I'm glad you said that because I'm going to throw some stuff at you.
I need some stuff too.
I feel like we have to be, just to touch on this a little bit, we have to be a little bit lighter on like, I'm not 100% sure you're going to love this, but I really need you to see it. and I think that's okay.
Yeah, and you know what? The reason that's a really good point because there's a movie that I saw.
Okay.
There's 2 movies I want you to watch. This is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
It is incredible. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. I'm gonna wait. I'll be like, hey, that time that we talked about in episode 5, this is that movie.
Sure.
I just recently watched it. Incredible, like so good, extremely disturbing.
Did it recently come out?
Yeah.
Is it Barbarian?
No, Barbarian.
Okay, never
I've never
mind.
even
Go
heard
ahead. Barbarian is like a new horror movie that's just like everyone's like, this is the greatest movie ever made. Like everyone's freaking out about it.
Check it out.
Yeah.
But it's extremely disturbing, but not for disturbing's sake. It's not to say, look how gross this is. It's like it's making a point visually.
Sure.
It's just visually very unsettling.
Okay.
And it's not an enjoyable, fun film to watch.
Okay.
But I think it's like, I think there's that space in film where it's like, man, I didn't like any second of that, but I'm so glad I watched it because it was an experience.
Yeah, sure.
And it's like, there might be things that you and I try or different recommendations we give each other that are like, you won't have fun, but you'll be glad you did it.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. We can get a little serious from time to time.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah.
Doesn't have to be all goofs.
There's so many things this is the problem with the podcast. We need to record more episodes because there's so many things I want to suggest.
Yeah.
But,
I feel like just a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
The last time we recorded, right?
Yep.
You had a suggestion for the episode
Yep.
of Welcome to Wrexham.
Yep.
After the episode, while we were just hanging out, you suggested like 5 other things to me in the same day.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you the relationship we have and how perfect this podcast is.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like we had to cleverly come up with this idea. It was just like,
no, it's just so natural.
we're already doing this.
Yeah.
Let's just record
Let's
it.
just record it.
Which also made me think about like low commitment requirements, which we need to catch your name for it. But basically like things that I'm like, this is something like I mentioned a podcast episode, which I'll mention also to like people listening. This podcast called SPI, Smart Passive Income with Pat Quinn. He has this guest on that talks about anti-time management. It's really, really interesting, especially if you're starting a business or just want to redirect your life. It's really, really cool. But we were talking about that, and it's like, I don't want to make that a whole episode.
Sure, yeah.
But it's like, we need to be
like,
able to...
You can have like mini segments in there and stuff like that.
But I'm also not done with Rex. I'm not done...
Sure, yeah. We're not done with Wrexham. Okay, sorry. Tangent. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like, hey, this is going to be a podcast. If you don't like tangents, you should not listen to this.
You shouldn't
podcast.
listen to no.
This is going to be a tangentful podcast.
100%.
But back to Wrexham.
What didn't you like?
Okay. I wouldn't say there was anything I didn't like.
It didn't click. It didn't.
No, like I enjoyed every minute of watching it. I almost felt like you said it. Not that you even overhyped it. I just feel like you naturally are in love with this thing and have set it up like I was almost expecting like this one thing to happen. You know, you set it up like, it's almost like once you get to this point in the movie, like it all clicks and like it's going to be crazy good or something. Like I was expecting a moment where I'm like, oh, now I get it, you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, this is good. Like I liked every of it. There's not like this moment that's like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever watched. But
yeah. To bring it back to the like table analogy, it's not if you press the center, all of a sudden this compartment opens up.
Sure,
it's just a perfectly crafted table. Yeah. And like, what I started to love in this show is they start to do these little snippets of people's lives. Mm-hmm. And you just like, I have never connected to sports, like understood the weight of it and how it impacts the community and a family. But then you like watch this and you're like, they need to win.
Yes.
Like the
town
minor spoilers, but I feel like it's weird. This isn't necessarily a spoiler, but like one of the characters or one of the people, and that's like
it's not even characters.
There's a whole nother tangent for a second. That was a huge conversation in documentary filmmaking school where our professors were like, I hate when we refer to the people in our films as characters because they're not characters. They're people. Like,
yeah, I like it.
But I still call them characters on like,
come on,
because it comes out. Sorry. I don't even remember her name. Sorry, my editing teacher. But it's this person who has cancer, and like you just his wife asks him like what's on your bucket list, and he's like, for Wrexham to get promoted. And
Yeah,
like, oh my god,
that's so wild.
Like,
it just means so much to them. And
yeah. And then what's cool is like what I love they do is they're introducing like the father and his sons, and then like they cut to the audience and you recognize them.
Yeah, they're there
and
in
they're
the
there,
stadium.
and you keep bringing them
it's
in,
crazy.
and it's just like the craftsmanship of you are filming a person in Canada, a person in LA, in Wales, and then multiple stories in Wales, and the way they just connect things and bring them back, and like there's this beautiful like ebb and flow. It's
very good. Okay, I did want to talk about like the people they're interviewing, because at first they were interviewing like the team manager, and the team like acting CEO and like players and stuff like that. Yeah, and then they just started interviewing like just random people in the town that are like really into this team. And I'm like, wait, how do they have anything? At first I was like, how do they have anything to do with this team? Like, why are they interviewing this guy? And then by the end of the episode, I'm like, I love this dude. Like, I want to know everything about him and why this team is so much to him.
But why
like,
do they interview the townspeople? Because the town and the team are
just as much a part of the team as the manager is. And it's good. Yes.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's very good.
And it's
very good.
They capture these moments that are just so sweet, and like, I
was also okay. So I can't really remember what happens in each episode, and I don't want to spoil things for you. So what happens in episode 5, the like most recent episode you watched?
They don't win the game, but they tie it.
Okay.
And it was really close.
Yeah.
And like the coach is like, you guys did a really good job in the second half. They tied the game.
Yeah.
And then they're on to this. I don't know. Like, that's kind of it.
Do they rebuild?
Yeah, they've already rebuilt like episode 3.
Okay. Okay. I think I got you. So did they? No. Okay. The next episode's really good. You should watch it.
Okay.
Because I thought there was really like a really cool moment in the next episode.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought the rebuild was also so interesting. On like, they were interviewing the like star player they got. Mullen. Yeah. And like his whole storyline was like so heartfelt and like down to earth, and I was like, who is this guy?
But the way they build it out is they like cut to the apartment scene, right?
Yeah.
Like, every time Mullen scores a point, money.
Yeah.
And then they cut to everyone talking like basically shit about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're not mean, but it's like,
like
he's only here for the money. And then they throughout the last
they hype him up as like this star player who's just there to make a ton of money. Like Ryan Reynolds and Rob probably offered him like a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And we're like, like he's just here because they offered him a ton of cash.
And then he's in his apartment, and you just see he's like, if they what it was along the lines, if they offered me $60,000 a week, and I had to go in China, play in China, I wouldn't do it because I need to be with my family. End of story. And you're just like,
I was like,
and like,
oh my gosh,
is that true? You can make that. But
you're getting both sides of the story though. It's up to you whether it's true or not. You know,
this is the beauty of documentary. This is the thing. Is it's like there's just this. Like you could write that, right? Like if they go, hey, we're gonna make a TV show about Wrexham.
Sure.
They bring the actors, they bring the plot twist, but like
it's so much more valuable when it's just happening in front of you.
And you don't mind getting invested because and it's not reality TV show, which is also just as scripted. And to be fair, documentaries are scripted as well, which is a whole nother conversation. Yeah. But like there's just this like, I don't know, there's something about Wrexham, and I don't know if it's just like I haven't watched a really good documentary in a while. But it was just like something after that first episode, I was like, so close.
It's just it was so inspiring to see every single person involved in this documentary so passionate about this football team. Yeah. Like it's like you see the players and it's like, yeah, they're on the team. They should be passionate about it. You see like the manager. Yeah, that makes sense. You see townspeople even. It's like, I mean, they're huge sports fans. That's like a thing. But like then you see like Rob like just getting so passionate about this football team with his kid. Like they're watching the game together and all this stuff. And he's like talking about how like that meant a lot to him when he was a kid watching the Philadelphia Eagles and stuff. Yep. And it's just like, he's just like all 100% in on this team that he like just bought out of the blue and like has no real connection to, but he's in it.
Yeah.
And it's just so great to see.
It's so good. The one gripe was the TikTok episode felt like the pacing of it felt off to me.
The TikTok episode.
There was just a couple. It was just I watched it recently and I was just kind of like, it's not moving at the like. It was like they needed to bring it up.
Okay.
Because all over the jerseys or I don't know what they.
It did seem like a lot of branding is going on in this documentary, which to be fair is probably the point of the documentary.
It's also making money.
So they can make the money to build the team back up. Like that's the whole point of this whole thing, right? But yeah, it was just like aviation gin is plastered everywhere. TikTok's plastered everywhere. Just like everything everywhere. But it didn't bug me that much. But yeah, I could just see like, okay, like this is to make money, but they're doing a very good job at it.
Do you think you're going to keep up with it?
Oh, I'm definitely finishing it.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which who knows when it gets finished?
Yeah, I guess I don't know how long it's gonna go.
Exactly.
But like I literally want to pull up Wrexham games and start watching Wrexham.
I know.
Yeah.
That's my thing about docs is I feel like you get so like you get to dive headfirst into different cultures and different like ideas and
it gives you a different view of the world.
And especially for people like us who quickly get obsessed about things, you just like learn about this world and then you're like, I want to know everything now. And it just sends you off into the deep end.
I may be reading too much into this, but they did have a scene. Now I can't remember if it's in the newest episode.
It's fine. Just you could.
They did have a scene where Ryan and Rob are like kind of poking fun at themselves the whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and how ridiculous this situation is. But they like did like a promo video where they're talking about Wrexham and they're like, yeah, it's this place in Rest of World. Rest of World is what they call it. And I just thought that was like so great. Like it's almost like so reflective of the people who are probably watching this documentary. You know, it just felt like so many layers deep.
Absolutely.
Of like, yeah, your audience for this documentary are probably a bunch of Americans who are
that still call it soccer,
who think of it this way.
I love the like little like English, and then it goes like ding.
Yes.
Like
the translations for it was
American,
like English,
Welsh,
American, and Welsh. Yeah,
so good.
I thought it was very good.
And then just like it just pops up randomly.
Yes,
it's so good.
Yeah, because that even those were like perfectly timed because someone would say something and be like, I don't know what that word means, and then it'd be like, ding, here's what that word means. I was like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. I was gonna look it up, but it's right there for me.
Good. It's so good.
It's very good. Yeah,
and it's wild too with like the doc, how little of the doc is actual soccer games.
Yeah. I mean, there's only like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 soccer games. There's not like a ton of soccer games. Yeah.
But like the story is not about the win or loss. Like that is, I would say like that's the accent point, but it's the weight of it is the town and everything that's getting invested in these people. So yeah,
it's very good.
All right. So
for anyone listening to this, for the one person that might be listening to this episode, please go check out this documentary. It's very good. Yeah. I would definitely recommend it to people. I don't like my wife Holly wasn't that into it, but like she got the appeal. Like she watched the first episode and was like, oh, I get why this is good. You know, it's just not my thing, but she just doesn't like sports or soccer or anything. But yeah, I definitely recommend it to people. So, and I did want to say, I don't think we've explicitly said this on this podcast. But if you are listening to this podcast and you're hearing our recommendations, like go check out these things. Like that's kind of the whole fun of the podcast is like you should follow along with us. And like if you hear a recommendation at the end of one of our episodes and have not done that thing, go do it.
Something I think too would be that like if you have a strong opinion, like maybe you saw Welcome to Wrexham and you comment on TikTok or our Instagram and you let us
give
know
us feedback.
We will bring that up. You know, if you're like Wrexham sucked.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read it, but I'm not gonna.
But like I want feedback from people. You know, I mean, for all I know, people like want to hear more video games or something like that. I got a pile of video games I can whip out. That's no problem. You know.
Yeah.
Like I want people to like write in or comment on social media and stuff like whether they are liking these things or not.
100%.
And if they're interested. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and like we talked about as well, if we get enough recommendations for a thing that either of us have tried.
Yeah.
We might
do an episode on it.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be pretty great. I like that.
So, yeah, let us know if you like or dislike what we recommend, and then also if you have your own recommendations.
Yeah.
Email
Email is recommendationsrequired@gmail.com.
We got it.
Yeah.
We
We got the Gmail.
We got the Gmail. I think that is it. Unless, do you have anything else to say about Welcome to Wrexham?
I think that's it.
You liked it?
Check it out.
Would you
Check it
be
out.
open to me suggesting other documentaries?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I would be open to it.
Because I'm going to do it anyway.
I mean, yeah. I definitely don't. Like I said, I don't think it'd be like my go-to thing that I'd be checking out frequently. But like, if I am going to be watching documentaries, I would like them to be filtered out by you. You know,
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'd like you to be the barometer of the documentaries I would
We're
enjoy.
cultivators, Glenn. You know,
You know,
curators.
yeah,
Not cultivate.
yeah, curators.
We don't
we're
cultivate
curating
anything. We
things, yeah.
curate it.
We don't produce.
We don't produce any good quality content. We just show the quality content.
Yes.
We are the shitty frame in which all these nice
the
things.
paintings are. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Yep.
All right. So we're gonna go to take a little break, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna come back, and you're gonna give me something
Yeah,
to.
I'll
You're gonna give
recommend-
me your
Yeah,
recommendation.
I'll recommend something to you.
All right. We'll see you on the other side.
Okay. I want to throw something at you, but I really don't know if you'll like it or not.
Do it.
You might hate me for even suggesting it. So.
All right. Here we go. Glenn's
I guess
recommendation.
we're back in there. We're back in here. Okay. Do you have Disney Plus?
Yes. Yes, I have Disney
You have
Plus.
Disney Plus?
I have Disney Plus.
Okay. Have you seen Star Wars Visions?
Star Wars Vision.
Visions.
Don't.
It's a TV show.
Is it animated?
It is animated.
Is it the Clone Wars thing?
No. So I'm going to say no, you have not seen this thing.
No.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I know you're not a huge Star Wars person.
It's a complicated statement, but yeah. Okay. Sure.
Okay. Can you give me a brief relationship description between you and Star Wars?
I more or less dislike George Lucas
Okay.
than I do Star Wars.
Okay.
I think the idea is great.
Okay.
Oh man. All right.
We're getting into it. This might be a long episode. We'll see.
So like George Lucas created Star Wars as initially as a like these are the special effects our company can do.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was like really great and it was awesome. It was like spearheading special effects and it was amazing. And then it did really well, so of course they make 3 more.
Yeah.
And
3 more and 3 more.
3 more and 3 more.
Yeah.
And like they're just not good.
Okay.
They're not you cannot you can try right now, but like
Sure.
there's no like people overhype it because of nostalgia purely.
Sure.
You can enjoy Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I think there's some like I enjoy Star Wars to a certain extent. But like the argument I would constantly hear was like, oh, the special effects were so good back then though. And it's like, okay, by that standard then Avatar should be the best film.
Sure.
Like if we want to play that game.
I
but
mean,
you just
Avatar, like the blue people
Yes.
Avatar? Yeah, it's one of the biggest grossing films of all time.
exactly. And but like everyone I wouldn't say everyone, but you ask and you're most likely gonna hear people that hate it.
Sure.
That's
sure.
just
It's
like
a divided thing.
which-
Yeah.
It's another whole thing. But
I'm not gonna sit here and argue that Star Wars is the greatest movie ever made.
No, but I
very much enjoy Star Wars.
I like The Mandalorian. I like when they took the Star Wars universe and they said, George Lucas,
Yeah.
you surround yourself with yes men.
Yep.
Because he'll fire people if they don't agree with him.
Yep.
Rather than being a collaborative creative director. What a crazy thought, George Lucas. Get off your throne. And when they took that from him
Yeah.
and they said, hey, here, actual creative people, you try this.
Yeah.
And then they've actually been able to produce some stuff that's cool, some things that are just thought differently.
Yeah.
Even like, not what's the second out of the third trilogy, the second movie,
The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
Maybe. I know which movie you're talking about.
that
yeah.
director,
It's episode 8.
yeah,
Episode 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The concepts he was trying to deal with are really cool.
Yeah.
Executed kind of poorly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
But like, I
wasn't a huge fan of the newest trilogy. To be fair,
and the last one was horrible.
it was really bad. Yeah.
So it was not even a bad Star Wars film. It was just a bad film.
Yeah.
Period.
It had like some sprinkled in good moments, like in a bin of trash.
I don't know if there was nothing. No, to me there was nothing redeemable about it. There's no part that I was like, that was kind of cool. It was like every part of it felt like fans. It's okay. Yeah. So I feel like fans and George Lucas have like destroyed anything that could have been fun about Star Wars, and Disney is starting to rejuvenate it a little bit. I heard Obi-Wan was pretty bad.
I didn't watch Obi-Wan because I heard it was pretty bad. Also, if you saw Boba Fett, did you watch that? It was complete trash. The worst Star Wars thing I've ever seen. Worse than the episode 7, 8, 9. It was god awful, horrible. And coming off The Mandalorian, I was shocked. I was literally stunned watching how bad this was. There's literal shots where you can see the set, all sorts of stuff. It's just bad. I really liked The Mandalorian though.
I liked the narrative structure of like old westerns where it's like, you know, Western guy, like cowboy goes from place to place solving problems. And I just like that they were like, we're not going to try and make this into this deeper, bigger thing. Like, spoiler, but like with Luke Skywalker at the end, like that's all I needed. I didn't need any more Jedis. I didn't need.
Okay, so that was one of my favorite. Spoilers, obviously. Maybe skip ahead if you don't want spoilers for The Mandalorian, but I feel like everyone's seen it. My favorite part of that show was when Luke Skywalker came in, obviously, but solely because I feel like CGI. It wasn't great. I mean, it's a TV show that I don't know what their budget's like.
You cannot with Disney Plus, dude.
I'm just kidding.
Don't even.
But yeah, I mean, the CGI is not awesome, but my problem was that you've seen Jedi so many times in all of the main movies, right? That it just becomes diluted with like, everyone's like super powerful at Jedi. And I feel like that scene alone, like you watched The Mandalorian get his ass kicked by one robot, right? He's fighting one robot and barely surviving, right? And then Luke Skywalker, a Jedi, just to set up the power scale here, walked in and just slaughtered a whole army of these things. It's amazing. Great. I love it. It sets up the power structure and like kind of shows a good example of like, this is where Jedi are at, like in this universe.
But episode 3, several clone, what are they? Just clones killed every Jedi. So like,
to talk about
consistency.
That.
This is what I'm saying.
I know.
Like,
they're
like he's so good at world building, and I'm like, no, he's not. Side note, do you know what the music is called in Jizz? Just replace the A with an I.
Okay. I'm gonna get us back on track here. Okay. I'm gonna get us back on track here. Okay, so the way you were describing Star Wars, though, I think Star Wars Visions might hit for you.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have any concept of what Star Wars Visions is?
Is it? No. Oh my gosh.
Okay, that's staying in there. Okay. I got it. Hold on. Oh man. Okay. So, don't look at me.
All right, go.
Is it? No. Okay.
Is it? No.
Okay. So, the way you're describing Star Wars, right? Like you like the properties that kind of branch off and do a different thing. Mm-hmm. That is all the show is.
Okay.
So, this is Star Wars anime.
Okay.
So the whole, like every episode is very, I mean, people are calling it that, but I don't know if you can, like, it's not from Japan or like, I don't know if you can literally call it anime, but that's like the inspiration for most of the episodes, I would say.
Okay.
Or all of them. All of them are anime inspired, but every single episode is a contained story that has nothing to do with the other episodes.
Okay,
Okay,
I like it. Kind of Black Mirror a little
it is,
bit. Like,
yeah, it is literally, and I think they have like different artists, different writers, different everything for each episode. So they basically, it sounds like they constructed, I think there are 9 episodes.
Okay.
It almost seems like they took 9 different teams of people and said, just make a 20-minute story that's in the Star Wars universe.
That's great.
And just do it and like see what happens.
It's all the same style.
No, it's different art styles in every one.
So it's like Love, Death, and Robots.
I haven't seen that.
All right. Put that on my mental.
Mark it on the list.
Put it on the list.
But I fell in love with the show.
Okay.
So every episode is very contained to its own thing. You can go in there and just watch a random episode and come back out, and like you don't need any continuity between episodes, nothing like that. But the thing I almost like about it is there's an episode out of the 9. There's an episode I hated, couldn't stand it, didn't want to watch it, wasn't interesting, didn't really care about it.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, there's another episode that is like the greatest piece of Star Wars property I've ever seen in my life. Like I fell so much in love with it. I'm like, okay, can you take that one episode and just make like 15 seasons of that? That's all I want, you know? Which I mean, maybe they're trialing these things. Maybe these are like mini trailers for what they could do. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I thought this was like it almost felt like this is what Star Wars should have been. You know, that might be a very bold statement.
No, I think it is because I haven't seen it, but I feel like there are these really fun concepts in Star Wars that are not given any weight or any love or care. It's just kind of like, how did I describe? Like, okay, there's Lord of the Rings, which there are literal languages made, and those languages are impacted by the geography. Like the whole world is completely established. Lord of the Rings is like, oh, that's a Boobadork, and he's from Spoobadop, and it's just like, oh yeah, okay, that's a thing now, and that's a real place, and now it's a real alien, and it's just like, or they go to the bar, and there's just like an alien with a,
they're just kind of
like an elephant nose, and it's just like, hey, it's just it's aliens, and it's just like, this could have been really cool, but you're just throwing stuff at the wall and whatever sticks, and so this sounds intriguing.
It's very more like each episode is very directed in what it's doing and what it wants out of that episode, like and it's just so like you don't need to like reference, it doesn't even like reference other Star Wars properties. Like there's not even like we're gonna throw the name Skywalker in there for fun. None of that. It's just like this is a completely contained episode that like, for intensive purpose, the only thing that's bringing it to Star Wars is like there's a lightsaber. That's it. Or like they mention like Jedi or Sith, like there's just this vague,
because it's a universe. The idea that you go to any place in the universe and Luke Skywalker is somehow connected to it is so stupid.
Yeah, and I always kind of wish they would just get away from the Skywalker family. Like it's always about the Skywalker family, and I feel like the best Star Wars stuff is when they do kind of stray from that a little bit and like expand the world, because like for example, The Mandalorian, like I just love like the story of Mandalore and like that whole arc, and like it's really cool in the Clone Wars, which have you seen that?
I watched a little bit when I was younger.
Like in the Clone Wars, they talk about like the fall of Mandalore and the Darksaber and all this stuff, and it's like that's really cool, and it has nothing to do with the Skywalkers because like it doesn't need to, but like I said, there's episodes where like there's an episode that's like about a band, like it is literally just about.
I love it.
It's just about a like runaway kid who's in a band, and it happens to be on Tatooine, and they play for like Jabba the Hutt. So like you get that tie-in, but like it's a completely its own thing, and then there's another episode where like Jedi are fighting Sith, It's just like you get two extremes. There's one that gets like very anime where like the main character is like a bunny human, like furry kind of vibe, But then like you're learning her background and like her city's being invaded by the Empire and like how that's like.
Well, I mean, she's a rabbit, so it's a pretty easy target.
Yeah, but like I don't know. It's just like every episode just feels so unique and like inspired. I don't know if that's a good word, but I'm actually going to say, like, if you do go ahead and watch every episode, which I believe each episode's only like 20 minutes. Like you could whip through them pretty quickly. Yeah. If you hit an episode and you're like halfway through it and you're just uninterested, just skip the episode. Like, all right. I would say that for anyone like who's going to watch it at home or anyone who's going to look into this, like, don't be afraid to just skip an episode you're not interested in. Like, that's totally fine.
Okay.
I think like each one is just so different that like, I think my favorite episode might be someone else's least favorite episode. And I think that's really cool.
I'm interested to see like which episodes resonate with me or don't. And
like I'm gonna say that my favorite episodes are the odd episodes. 1, 3, 5, and 7 are like my club bangers. Those are my episodes. Probably there's 9. I don't even remember 9 actually. Maybe it came out and I missed it. But 1 is probably my favorite episode. Okay. It starts off just so really hard strong. And so good. Okay. I don't want to tell you too much about each episode.
I think I need to go in more. You got to go in more blind, the better.
Yeah, but just like, I would just say go in with an open mind and just kind of go with the flow. It doesn't need to be like, you don't have to have any expectations for it. Just like, this is just going to be a fun 20 minutes. You know?
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting more and more drawn into media that I can just jump in and out of. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone is telling me to watch Better Call Saul. Mm-hmm. And I have no doubt it's a good show. Yeah. Just
seems like a lot.
I just don't want to get in. Yeah. I feel that. It's like I watched the first couple episodes, like, this is really good. And I'm just like, I just don't.
It seems like a long haul.
Yeah, like, or like one of my favorite shows that I love to suggest to people is Dark. Mm-hmm. But like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. So it's like, I'm loving these kind of spaces that are coming out, that it's like, it is kind of engaging that YouTube's side of like media of like, this is a short film. Yeah. And it doesn't need to be connected, and it can be totally like unconnected stylistically, narratively. It can just be its own thing. It can be its own thing. But we're going to bundle them together. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to try this.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like of anything that is Star Wars, I feel like this could be your favorite thing that is Star Wars. All right. You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I'm
excited. I mean, I know I'm going to watch a couple of episodes tonight probably. Okay. Cool. So we'll just kind of we'll check it out. And is it like CGI or some of the CGI, some of them 2D?
It's like all over. No, I don't really know what dignifies CGI. I think it's all animation. Okay. Like, just straight up animation. All very different art styles. Okay. But like, I mean, think anime. Like, it's straight up like, or like comic book-y kind of styling in some of them. Like, it's very just classic animation, I think. You know? I don't think there's any CGI.
I want to hate it.
I know.
Like, as you're saying it.
I know.
I don't think I'm gonna hate it, but I can feel myself go like, man, I can't wait to tell them how much I hate it.
I know. That's why I was afraid of suggesting this to you. You know, I was just like, it could go either way, but I'm like, I just need you to watch this so we can talk about it.
Yeah. All right. I'm down.
You know what I mean?
I'm excited. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna watch all episodes. There's 9 of them.
There's 9 of them.
I'll watch all 9 episodes.
You're going to watch all 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a completionist. Okay. Like, I will, even if a movie,
I'm really curious to see, like, if any, like, really hit with you, and some are like, I didn't really care for it, you know?
I'll take some notes. We'll bring them back. But to kind of die on that hill of finishing things even when they're bad, have you seen or heard of the movie Moonfall?
I listened to How Did This Get Made?
Yeah.
Which is a podcast where they review bad movies.
Yes.
And like don't understand how this movie got made.
That
they did an episode on Moonfall. I have not seen Moonfall, but I listened to the episode and how ridiculous that movie is.
Oh my goodness. I literally watched it and I was like, something happened in the background. Something on a production level. Someone got screwed. they're embezzling money. Something happened because that movie is horrible. It's over 2 hours, and I watched the whole thing.
Oh my God.
Even halfway through, I was like, this is so bad. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
No.
Maybe it's a good twist. No. It was terrible.
Yeah, I obviously know what happens because
horrendous from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Like, so much stuff happens in the first 10 minutes where it's like, it's like 6 movies in 10 minutes, and they just plow through it. And so I can watch 22 minutes of an episode, even if it doesn't connect with me.
I'm getting too excited now. I really want you to see this. I may even, if you have time tonight, stick around for the first episode and watch it with you, if that's okay.
I'm
fine, just very pumped about it.
All right.
I really want to get your opinion. I'm really hoping you like it.
Here's the thing. If we watch the episode tonight, I will give no emotional or verbal response.
That's fine.
Until the podcast. I'll just go. Thank you for showing me.
No, you know what? I'll just let you watch it. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do it. I'll get too pumped.
You're gonna be doing that thing where you watch a movie, with somebody, you just keep staring and see how they're reacting. You're like, dude, wait, watch this. And you're like,
yeah.
Do you know who else does that a lot?
Who?
Out of our friends, who do you think does the most? Like, dude, watch this.
Did you see this?
Yeah. Like while you're watching the movie with them.
I want to say Steven, but I feel like we have a lot of friends that would do something like that.
This is true. I think most of our friends do it. Never mind. I won't name it.
Oh, you won't name it?
I won't name him. Name it.
I don't know that I've... No, that's a lie. I take it back.
Dominic used to be really, really bad at it.
Oh, okay.
He's gotten better.
Okay. I feel like no matter what the property is, I'm definitely looking for a reaction out of the person I'm showing it to. And 100%. It's never, ever, ever once been the reaction I wanted. It's never been as excited. I get, we've already discussed this. I get very into things very easily. Yeah. And I feel like I get very passionate about it. And the other person's like, yeah, it's cool. I'm like, damn it.
But this is it. This is an active practice of that. We just keep working at trying to refine.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go watch Vision.
Star
Wars Vision.
Visions.
Which is different than WandaVision.
Correct. Totally different universe.
I did see that.
You did see that? I didn't see that.
It could have been cool.
No.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
That's a hot take, my man. You might want to edit that one out.
Nope. If you've watched WandaVision and you think the whole thing was really cool from start to end, I have no words for you.
Really?
It was a cool okay. It was a cool concept, and then they just like turned it into every Marvel thing ever at the end, which is like
I have to say I did pretty much check out after Endgame. I felt like that was a good cutting off point for me.
Jackie and I watched I don't like Marvel either. Mm-hmm. I watched every Marvel film chronologically. Mm-hmm. It's like when it happens in the timeline from Captain America. I was going to say American Soldier.
American Soldier.
to Endgame. Okay. And yeah, it was an experience. You know?
Okay.
Side note.
Yeah.
Did you... We're so over time, but did you see...
We can have some long episodes.
We have some long episodes.
Hey, I don't know if you know this. People can pause the podcast.
They can pause and listen later.
Yes.
What a concept.
I really... Okay. I don't know. I know generally podcasts stick to a certain amount of time that you can expect every episode. I really don't care. if we have
you might get an episode that's 10 minutes?
No.
Or 10 hours.
It's not going to be that. It's not going to be that short. I feel like half an hour is the bare minimum, but like,
that's fair.
If we're having a good chat here and it ends up being an hour long and we think it's all good, like I don't want to just throw all that away.
We might need to cut this because it becomes harder to sell ads if you have inconsistent times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay. Well, we'll just part 1 and part 2 episodes.
Part 1, part 2. No.
Yeah.
Did you see the newest Thor: Love and Thunder?
No, I did not.
It's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun. It's the same director as can't remember his name. He's the voice of the rock guy. He directed Ragnarok. It just like it's the same thing with Star Wars where Marvel's like, we're gonna do this super desaturated, boring movies, and then you have a fun director go, can I try something? And they're like, sure. And then he just has a wild, fun idea.
Did you like Guardians of the Galaxy?
I like the first one.
Okay.
The one where his
those
dad's
were
a
my
planet
favorites.
and gives his mom cancer.
Yeah.
That one was stupid.
You didn't like it?
No.
Okay.
Visually, it was fun, but like this one was like, my bar is so low for Marvel films. I'm like,
yeah.
if you can keep my eyes on the screen, like, good job.
Okay.
And this one I was like, this is fun.
My biggest
This is a fun
complaint
concept.
with Thor specifically is the first 2 movies of Thor were not good.
First one was fine.
First one was okay. The second one was
was-
straight trash.
Second one, I
The
don't even
third one
remember.
was like cool, but I almost felt like there
What
was
happens in the third one?
It's Ragnarok. Third one's Ragnarok.
Oh, third one's great.
I thought it was good, but I felt like
It's like the only good Marvel film.
I don't know about that. That's a
Oh, I do.
statement. I wouldn't even say it's in my
This episode is called Hot Takes.
I know. I wouldn't even say it's in my top 5, but
Top 5 Marvel films. Go.
that's okay. We'll be here for hours, Ryan. Maybe next.
We'll be here
episode.
for hours for you to name 5 films.
No, because you'll debate me on each one.
That's fair.
I thought it strayed too comedic
No, it's so good.
because there would be
so
like
stupid.
there would just be like great moments that I
Yeah.
was like excited for this character to like come into full power. You know,
Yep.
like you have this great moment that this character's been building towards, and then they cut the moment with a joke, and I'm like,
It's fair.
okay. I just feel like I was robbed of that cool moment that you were building to. I don't know why you did that.
The thing
but
though is every cool and serious moment in Marvel feels like it's given by a 6-year-old. Like you can't take them. Like it's so sweet. It's
sure, a little bit.
It's like we could do this together, and you're like, oh, you're adorable.
I get that there's moments of that, but like it was almost like I need something in the middle.
That's
like you can't take yourself too seriously, but you also like can't just throw out a joke. Like okay, my biggest example is like the Hulk like jumps out of like their plane thing,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, I'm that guy. Like I'm the Hulk." Like tells Valkyrie,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, I'm the Hulk," and then like jumps out and just like face plants on the ramp.
It was great.
And I was like, okay,
That's good.
like it's just like a barrage of jokes.
Yeah,
and I'm
I
just
get
like you can give me one cool moment
think
where
I
he
liked
like
Love and-
transforms and hits and like the whole ramp like
he does. He fights the
decays.
wolf. That
yeah,
part's
but
so dope.
after he just like
Yeah.
goofy face plants onto the ramp, you know, I'm like, you can have one cool moment. You don't need to like make a joke every second.
That's fair,
I don't know.
that's fair.
And I heard that Love and Thunder just dives even further into
It
that.
does.
And I'm like,
I thought I saw.
I like now Thor's just he's just a punchline.
Yeah,
I'm
a
like,
little
and
bit.
he's one of the coolest characters. I don't know, like you could do something with him. Like I don't know why he's just a joke now.
There's some cool. There's some real. I think the design and everything was so fun in Love and Thunder.
okay.
I'm
sure it's still a
I
good
had a-
film.
I had
like I said, I checked out on Marvel.
You don't
anyway.
need to watch it.
Yeah,
You don't.
thanks.
But I was like, you know, if you got some time to kill and you're looking for just an easy watch, I think it's fun.
Okay.
That's my micro recommendation.
Okay. But yeah. Okay. I'm gonna cut us off.
Also, I hate. We need a better name. Suggest names for small recommendations. Micro recommend. That sounds like a micro.
Yeah,
what's the
microtransactions?
not that, as well as micro. Oh my gosh! All right, thanks for thanks for listening, everyone.
We gotta call
and
it.
we'll see you on
we'll
the
see
next
you
episode.
Next episode, episode 6 for Star Wars Visions
And something else,
and something else.
whatever I decided.
Yeah, whatever you hit me back with.
All right.
See you then.
Bye.